no one in Bear Lake Valley could explain exactly when the feeling began.
That quiet, uneasy feeling.
Like something wasn't right. At first, it was easy to ignore. A strange light seen from a distance.
A late-night sound carried by the wind.
A missing detail that didn't quite make sense. Small things.
Harmless things.
At least, that's what everyone believed. Until the day people stopped laughing about it. Because by then, it was already too late.
This is the story of Hartwell Ranch.
A place that once stood as a symbol of hard work, family, and quiet success, but slowly turned into something no one in the valley dared to speak about. Even today, many refuse to talk about what really happened there. And those who do, lower their voices, because some stories aren't meant to be remembered, and some places don't want to be understood. Bear Lake Valley, in the early 1900s, was the kind of place where life followed a simple rhythm.
The sun rose over wide fields of farmland.
Workers stepped out early into the cold morning air. Horses moved slowly across open land.
And the distant sound of tools echoed through the valley.
It was quiet, peaceful, predictable. The kind of place where nothing truly strange was supposed to happen. Everyone knew each other. Everyone trusted each other. And news never stayed secret for long. But just beyond the main stretch of farmland, past a narrow dirt road that curved along a line of old trees, stood a ranch that felt slightly different from the rest.
Hartwell Ranch.
It wasn't the biggest in the valley, but it was one of the most well-kept. The fences were always strong. The fields were always clean. And the animals were always healthy. From a distance, it looked perfect.
Almost too perfect.
The man who owned it was named Silas Hartwell. He had lived in the valley for years, long enough to be known, but never long enough to be fully understood. Silas was a quiet man, not unfriendly, but not welcoming either. He spoke when necessary, worked without rest, and avoided unnecessary attention. People respected him, but they didn't know him. Not really. His wife, Ruth Hartwell, was different. Where Silas was distant, Ruth was warm. She greeted people in town, attended gatherings, spoke kindly to everyone she met. If Silas built the ranch,
Ruth made it feel like home.
Together, they had children, several of them, boys and girls of different ages. They helped around the ranch, played in the fields,
laughed loudly enough for the sound to carry in the wind.
For a long time, the Hartwell family looked like any other, maybe even better than most. But perfection has a strange way of hiding things, and sometimes, the more perfect something appears, the more it has to hide. The first strange moment wasn't anything dramatic.
No sudden scream, no shocking event.
Just a light. Late one night, a farmer returning home noticed it.
A glow coming from the direction of Hartwell Ranch.
That wasn't unusual. People stayed up late sometimes. But this light was different. It was too bright, too still, and it didn't flicker like a lantern. It just stayed there, unmoving, watching. The farmer paused for a moment, then shook his head and continued home. It didn't matter, or at least, it didn't feel like it mattered. The next night,
someone else saw it, and then another.
Each time, the same description.
A strange, steady light, coming from somewhere inside the house.
By the end of the week, people had started mentioning it. Casually, like it was nothing important. Maybe they got a new lamp.
Maybe someone is sick.
Maybe they're working late. There was always an explanation. There always is.
In the beginning.
But then came something harder to explain.
The light.
Never went out. Not once.
Night after night.
It remained. Same brightness.
Same stillness.
As if time itself wasn't affecting it. And that's when the feeling began. That quiet discomfort. That small voice in the back of the mind. Something isn't right. But even then, no one acted. Because nothing had actually happened.
No crime.
No danger. No proof. Just a light.
And a feeling.
And feelings are easy to ignore. Until they aren't. Days turned into weeks. And slowly, other changes began to appear. People noticed that Ruth Hartwell hadn't been seen in town. At first, no one questioned it.
Life gets busy. Things happen.
But then more time passed. And still,
no sign of her. Children used to laugh and run through the fields.
Were no longer seen playing. The ranch still functioned. Work still got done. But something about it felt off. Too quiet. Too controlled. As if everything was happening exactly as it should be. And yet, something was missing. When people passed by the ranch now, they didn't slow down. They didn't look. Not for long. Because the longer you looked, the more that strange feeling grew. Like you were noticing something you weren't supposed to notice.
And then one night,
a sound was heard.
Faint.
Distant.
Carried across the valley by the wind.
No one could say exactly what it was. Some said it sounded like metal dragging. Others said it was more like something knocking. Slow. And uneven. But one thing everyone agreed on. It didn't sound natural. It didn't belong. And it came from the direction of Hartwell Ranch. That was the moment when the story truly began. Because from that night forward, people stopped trying to explain things and started trying to avoid them. And when a place becomes something people avoid, it usually means one thing. Something is there.
Something hidden. Something waiting.
And Hartwell Ranch was no longer just a ranch. It was becoming something else.
Something darker.
Something that would soon reveal itself. Whether anyone was ready or not. After that night, no one in Bear Lake Valley spoke about Hartwell Ranch the same way again. It wasn't just a place anymore. It became a direction people avoided. A name spoken carefully. A silence that followed every mention of it. But fear doesn't stop curiosity. And curiosity has a way of pulling people closer to the very thing they should stay away from. The first person to act on that curiosity was a man named Thomas Reed. He wasn't reckless. He wasn't foolish. In fact, he was known as one of the most level-headed men in the valley.
A farmer.
A father. Someone who didn't believe in rumors or ghost stories. So when others spoke about strange lights and distant sounds, Thomas didn't see mystery. He saw exaggeration.
Misunderstanding.
fear growing where there was nothing to fear. And that's exactly why he decided to go. Not during the day, but at night. To prove that there was nothing unusual about Hartwell Ranch. To prove that people were imagining things. Late one evening, after the valley had gone quiet, Thomas made his way down the narrow dirt road that led toward the ranch. The air was colder than usual. Still, heavy. Even the usual sounds of the night felt distant, as if the valley itself was holding its breath. When he reached the edge of the property, he stopped, not because he was afraid, but because something immediately felt wrong. The ranch was too quiet.
No animals moving. No wind brushing through the fields.
Nothing.
Just stillness.
The kind of silence that presses against your ears.
Thomas stepped forward. One step.
Then another. The ground beneath his boots felt dry and brittle, as if it hadn't seen moisture in a long time. That didn't make sense. The valley had seen rain just days before. But here, the land felt different. Dead. He moved closer to the house. And that's when he saw it.
The light.
The same light people had been talking about.
Bright.
Steady. Coming from one of the windows. But now that he was closer, he realized something unsettling. The light wasn't spreading naturally. It didn't glow outward like a lantern. It was contained.
Almost trapped.
Like it was being held in place. Thomas frowned.
Stepping closer.
Trying to see inside. At first,
he saw nothing.
Just brightness. Then slowly, his eyes adjusted. And he noticed movement.
Shadows.
Not one. Not two. Several.
Standing still.
Too still. As if they weren't moving at all, but simply existing in place. Watching. Waiting. Thomas felt something tighten in his chest. This wasn't normal. This wasn't explainable. He forced himself to step closer. Close enough to reach the window. Close enough to see clearly. And when he finally did, he froze.
Inside the room
stood figures. People. But something about them was wrong. They weren't speaking. They weren't moving naturally. They stood in unnatural positions, facing inward, toward something in the center of the room. Something Thomas couldn't fully see. Their faces looked pale, blank, empty, like something had been taken from them. Or worse, replaced.
Thomas stepped back suddenly.
His breath catching. His heart pounding louder than the silence around him. This wasn't fear anymore. This was instinct. Something deep inside him was telling him one thing. Leave. He turned quickly.
Moving away from the window. Away from the house.
But as he stepped back, his foot caught something on the ground. He stumbled, falling hard. The sound echoed louder than it should have. And for a moment, everything went completely still. Then,
the light changed.
It flickered, just once. And then,
darkness. Total darkness.
Thomas didn't wait. He scrambled to his feet and ran. Not looking back. Not slowing down. Running until the ranch disappeared behind him.
Running until the valley felt normal again.
When he finally reached home, he didn't speak. Not that night. Not the next day. not for several days after. And when he finally did, his words only made things worse.
Because Thomas Reed,
the man who never believed in fear, looked different, shaken,
pale.
and when people asked him what he saw, he only said one thing: "There's something wrong in that house. They're not right." That was enough. From that moment on, no one questioned the stories anymore.
No one laughed.
No one doubted, because now there was someone who had seen it, someone who had gone close enough to understand the truth, or at least part of it. But even then, no one knew how deep it went, because what Thomas saw that night was only the beginning, and whatever was inside Hartwell Ranch hadn't revealed its true nature yet. Not fully, not completely, but it would. Soon, very soon.
The lantern hit the floor, and the light went out.
Darkness swallowed the room in an instant. For a few seconds, no one moved. No one spoke. Only the sound of breathing filled the air.
Fast.
Uneven. Afraid. Then
a scream. Sharp.
Sudden. Followed by another.
And then chaos.
People rushed toward the door. Pushing. Tripping. Trying to escape whatever was inside that room. But something was wrong. The doorway was gone. Where it had been just moments before, there was now only a wall. Solid.
Unbroken.
As if it had never existed. Panic spread instantly.
Hands slammed against the wood.
Voices shouted in fear.
Where is the door?
Let us out. But the house gave no answer. And then, a sound. Low.
Deep. Vibrating through the floor itself. Not coming from above.
Not from outside, but from beneath them.
From inside the house.
From inside the walls. It wasn't a voice. Not exactly. But it felt like one. Like something trying to speak.
Without words. The air grew colder.
Heavier.
Harder to breathe.
One of the men lit another lantern with shaking hands. The flame flickered weakly, but it was enough. Enough to see that they were no longer alone. The people in the room had moved closer, quietly,
without a sound.
They now stood just a few steps away, surrounding them, watching them, their faces pale, their eyes empty, and their expressions completely still.
One woman stepped forward slowly.
Her movements unnatural, too smooth, too controlled, like a puppet being pulled by invisible strings. She opened her mouth, and when she spoke, it wasn't her voice. It was something deeper, something layered.
Something wrong. You come back. The words echoed strangely.
As if more than one voice had spoken at once. A man near the front shook his head, backing away.
What is this? What's happening to you?
No answer. Only silence. Then, the woman tilted her head slightly, and smiled.
Not a human smile.
Too wide, too empty. Then she said, "He showed us." More figures began stepping forward, one by one, their movements perfectly in sync. He showed us what's beneath. The lantern light flickered violently now, as if struggling to stay alive. A man raised his voice. "Who showed you?" And that's when everything stopped. Completely. No movement. No sound. Even the air felt frozen.
And then slowly,
very slowly, something shifted in the center of the room.
Not the people, not the walls,
but the darkness itself. It began to move, to twist, to take shape. And for a brief moment,
just a single second,
they saw it. Not clearly, not fully, but enough. Enough to understand one thing. This was never just a house. This was never just a disappearance. Something had always been there, waiting, watching, calling. The ground beneath them trembled slightly.
And the voice,
that same deep, impossible presence, returned, not heard with the ears, but felt inside the mind. You were not supposed to find this place. Several people collapsed instantly, unable to handle the pressure, the fear, the presence. Others tried to run, but there was nowhere to go. No doors,
no windows,
only walls, and whatever lived within them. Then the figures surrounding them began to reach out, slowly, calmly, as if there was no urgency at all, as if escape had never been an option. The last thing anyone saw, before the lantern finally died, was the darkness in the center of the room, growing, expanding,
consuming everything.
And then, nothing. The next morning, Bear Lake Valley was silent, too silent. Homes stood open,
farms untouched, animals wandering without direction.
But the people were gone, all of them. No signs of struggle, no bodies, no clues,
just emptiness.
Days turned into weeks, weeks into years, and eventually, the valley was abandoned, left behind, forgotten. Maps stopped marking it, travelers avoided it, and stories became warnings. Even now, those who passed too close to where Bear Lake Valley once stood
say strange things happen.
Compasses stop working.
Air feels heavy.
And sometimes,
late at night,
they claim they see lights in the distance.
Faint, flickering,
like lanterns,
moving slowly toward something unseen.
And if you listen carefully, you might hear it. A low,
deep, impossible sound.
Calling, waiting, patient. Because whatever was found inside Hartwell Ranch was never meant to be discovered. And maybe it never let them leave.